trout rods, salmon rods, striper rods, halibut rods, downrigger rods, lead core rods, spinning rods, and more. If you want a high quality, high performance rod that won't let you down out on the water, go to fishhuntshoot.com and check out our selection of high quality, high performance fishing rods.
Beautiful fish though.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
Come on. You're almost there. He's in it. He's in it. Oh, he's not.
Now he is.
Now he's got him.
All right. Nice job. Nice job.
Nice fish.
Sit down. Sit. Sit.
Okay, Tim, my arm's getting tired. You ready?
Well, slow down and reel it. It's not going anywhere.
There we go. Another nice fish.
Go! Look at that!
Oh, that's not bad at all. Saw a flash.
Oh, you saw the boat.
Yeah, you
There
did.
he is.
Nice fish.
Yeah, he was just content to swim along until he saw the boat. Good. Nice fish, bro.
Howdy guys, Cal Kellogg here. I just want to share some thoughts with you this morning about dodgers and about hard to catch finicky fish and just some of my fishing philosophy. And a lot of this is you know, it's foundational to what I learned when I was a fly fisherman for about 10 years exclusively. The go-to philosophy I had when I was fly fishing is if I hit a stream or even a lake and the bite was off, it told me I had to downsize my leader and downsize my offerings. In other words, when the fish were feeling off, when they weren't feeling aggressive, I needed to downsize and I needed to get really subtle in my presentation. And let's kind of fast forward to Collins Lake over the past month or so. There are a lot of big fish to be had at Collins Lake, and I've had the privilege of fishing up there a whole bunch with a lot of fun folks. But the fish have not been easy to catch. Every once in a while, we get a short duration reaction strike when the fish are feeling pretty feisty, and we're able to catch them on speed spoons or trigger spoons, mag lips, stuff like that. But day in, day out, most of the time, we have had to scrape and work hard for every single strike. And I'll show you my number one rig. It is a very small, it's a mini willow leaf dodger in the watermelon color, running about a 36 to 40 inch leader, 8-pound test fluorocarbon, down to a number 2 slow death hook with a 2-inch section of nightcrawler threaded on that hook. And even when running this very subtle presentation, I often have to take the rod out of the rod holder when I see the fish come up and tick that worm and play those bites out. Give the fish some slack, speed it up, give him some slack, speed it up, feel him tug some more, give him some slack, speed it up, and really tease them into committing and getting the hook in their mouth. It's been challenging, but it's been very satisfying hooking those fish that not a lot of other people have been able to get on the end of their line. And we've done some experimentation with other rigs, and nothing has really worked. So, and this kind of gets into my Dodger philosophy. So a lot of guys would run a Dodger like this, and they would use the Dodger to impart movement on that worm, and they would be running a very short 10 to 12 inch leader. We tried that, we got no strikes at all. We got rid of the Dodger, we tried trolling just naked worms, nothing, no strikes at all. We tried large 6-inch fisheye Dodgers and fisheye pros. We tried subtle colors and bright colors, not a strike. I even tried this blade right here. I tried the Willow Leaf Magnum in the same watermelon color, and I think we got one bite on this. It just wasn't working. It's become very apparent, and the bite might have changed now. I don't know. I'll be back up there this week and I'll find out. It's become very apparent that this small, subtle blade, when trolled at about 1.5 to 1.8 miles an hour, is drawing the fish into the area where the bait is working, and then they get intrigued with that worm, and the worm has to be rolling. We've had some worms that weren't getting hit, reel them in, they're not rolling. They have to be rolling right now. So it's a pretty technical bite. It's subtle things that are getting those fish to go. And the Dodger, it is just working, just putting off enough flash and enough vibration to catch the interest of those trout, and they're coming in and they're playing with that worm. Sometimes they come in and hit the worm pretty good. The bottom line is the blade is attracting them into range for them to get interested in the worm, to feel or smell that it's real meat, and then eventually they commit to it. But when the bite's off, remember, downsize, get subtler, get slower. You know, those have been the keys to our success, and we've really relied on the natural bait. We have grubs and gulp and all those things, but it's really come down to the smallest Dodger in my arsenal teamed with a real worm to draw those strikes. And a lot of the strikes have been from very impressive fish. We had a 25-inch holdover that looked like a steelhead. We had a 7-pounder on this rig. We had a 12-pounder on this rig, and dozens of other fish. So it's definitely working, but it's not a slam dunk. It's pretty methodical. We're working the top 12 feet of the water column. So just remember that when you're choosing Dodgers, if the bite's off, you still may need to use a Dodger, but you may need to go with the really small stuff. Now, if the fish are aggressive, or you're out fishing big expanses of open water, you know, you might want to be going with the 6-inch blade, something like that. And this was actually my first choice. This is usually my first choice when I reach for a Dodger. The water was a little colored up there after the last rainstorm we had. I thought this chartreuse and chrome blade would work really well. It didn't though. So anyway, remember, tough bite, get subtle, downsize, and you know, just pique those fish's interest. I've been talking to some fellas that fish back into Great Lakes, and they have some interesting theories about using Dodgers and flashers. They tell me that they always run it, and these guys run big spreads. I mean, they're out in the Great Lakes, it's like the ocean. They're out there in huge water. They run big spreads, up to 12 lines behind the boat. And they tell me they try to put 2 or 3, either Dodgers or flashers in the middle of their spread, and they don't always catch fish on those baits, and then they run naked baits to the outside of those lines rigged with the Dodgers and flashers, because, you know, they're using the Dodgers and flashers to bring fish into the spread, and even if they don't commit to the lure that's working behind the attractor, they will often pick off one of the outside baits as they either come in or they exit from the spread. So a lot of interesting theories out there. If you're fishing from a small boat, that's not really applicable because the most rods you're gonna run, like out of my kayak, is 2, so you could run 1 Dodger and 1 naked lure. But if you're running out of a traditional trout boat, you might think about running that Dodger or that set of flashers middle back and then running some naked stuff off to either side. And if you're one of those guys up on Shasta or Don Pedro and, you know, working the big water that has the planer boards and all that, that could really be a good tip. So anyway, just some basic Dodger talk this morning. If the bite's tough, downsize, 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 man. That's been the only thing putting fish in the fish box for us here recently. Hopefully it changes. Hopefully we get in on some reaction action up at Collins. But thus far, it's been all about night crawlers and small blades. Anyway, I'm Kel Kellogg. I'm signing off for now. If you are looking, if you're in the market for, I actually have that hook. Well, I had it hooked everywhere. I had it hooked in a zipper in my pants. I had it hooked in my knee. If you're in the market for some of our mini willow leaf Dodgers, some of our big fisheye or fisheye pro Dodgers, lead core rods and more, go on over to fishhuntshoot.com. Gear up, get some gifts for the holidays, whatever. We got a bunch of gear up there and more gear on the way. I'm Kel Kellogg. I'm signing off. You have a safe, happy day, and I will catch you next time right here on YouTube. In fact, I got to go in and tie up some more worm leaders right now because I'm going to need them. I have a feeling I'm going to need them. So anyway, you have a great day. I'll catch you later. I'm Kel Kellogg. I'm signing off.